Alrighty, we have a double switch box in the bathroom. There's no outlet to plug anything into in the bathroom, so we're going to make this double switch box into a switch box with a GFI receptacle next to it. Here in the country I was born in, we use 14 American wire gauge on 15 amps, 12 American wire gauge on 20 amps. Black is live, white is neutral, the beer or the green is the ground. Red and blue are also live colors. However, you may find white live in a switch loop or a 220, 240 volt circuit where the appliance does not require a neutral. So I'll show you how to turn this double switch box into a switch and outlet box. Okay, so we'll take our two switches out of the box here. And this one's a flathead. So we'll pull our switches out. So this is what we have here. And as you can see here, we have something that's not up to code. Two wires on one screw, that's not up to code. See that right there? And the screw wasn't even that tight either. You'll see, I'll take one wire off here and you'll see how there was another. There's that one, this is our power wire. And it was doubled with that there, and that's not up to code. So we'll take so this is the fan. And you can see that one was around the screw backwards. That wasn't even hooked up right. But this one was around the screw the right direction. There's nothing wrong with these two switches, so we will save them. So we're going to make these two, this is the wall light and this is the ceiling light. So what we're going to do is we will take our, we'll cut where it's stripped here and we'll clip them off so they're nice and even here. Strip with our 14 gauge hole. And we will take our 14-2 Romex here. We'll get a black tail out of here and we'll get a white tail to go to our outlet. So we'll push these wires up here. We'll grab them with our pliers. And we'll get a ground and our white out. So first we'll get our blacks to go together here for our lights. We'll get our insulation even at the bottom here. We'll get them twisted so they're even to start. And this black one will be the one that'll go to the switch for our lights. So we'll strip with our 14 gauge hole. Get our insulation even at the top here. Twist them so they're all nice and even here. We'll clip it so it's even with our shortest wire here. And here in the country I was born in, we use yellow wire nuts and red wire nuts most commonly. We have orange ones for like 18 gauge wire to a 14 gauge wire like on a light fixture. So we'll get our tail together here for the lights. Okay, so we have our red that goes to the fan and our black that goes to both of our lights. This is our black power coming in. Now we're going to get our white wires out here. And we have to get a tail to go up to our GFI receptacle. And it's not twisted very nicely here, so we're going to take and we'll untwist all this and we'll get a better twist. Get a better strip on these too, because you can see how they used a pocket knife and see all that insulation hanging off there. We don't want that. So we'll strip back a little bit further with our 14 gauge hole. It's a little bit harder getting it over the wrinkled up wire there. Here we go. And I'll strip this one a little bit further here. Just back to where they take off what they used with the jackknife. And this will be our tail wire to go to our GFI outlet. Now this one will use a red wire nut because we have multiple wires here. So we'll strip this with our 14 gauge hole. I'm going to see if I can put these together without twisting them. So you can get our insulation all even at the bottom here. Now I better twist them. Okay, so get our first two started here, get our insulation even on the bottom, bring our third one in, get the insulation even on the bottom, and with this fourth wire, I'm not going to twist it because it'll get all messed up. So what I'm going to do is just cut this so it's even on the bottom here. And we'll get our fourth wire in here, make sure our insulation is the same length as our others. And I'll make sure That's nice and straight and even. I'll straighten this out here. And I'll put it in, get them lined up even like that, put my red wire nut on, make sure my insulation is going up into the bottom of the wire nut, which it is. And I'll take my pliers and I'll hold all this. Okay, now we can get all our debris out of our box here. And I see a spot to put our green screw. Now they have all these ground wires crimped together and hooked to a ground screw in the back here, so and they're too short to add to. So I'll get these white wires back out of our way here. I'll just push this in like this and push it back all the way. So this will be our white one to go to the outlet. These are our two switches. This is our black one from the power. So I'll open this up. Now I'll cut our wire. Oh, I gotta get a nice long ground wire to go to both devices. So I'm going to I'll cut a nice longer piece here. And put this wire a little bit out of the way. This is our bonding ground screw. We'll put it into our thread hole in the back here. Make our loop the direction our screw turns. Put it around the screw here in the back. Close our loop the direction the screw turns there. Make sure it's nice and tight. So now we're ready to hook our devices up. We have our, this is our double switch. As you can see, it has pressure plate terminals and pressure plate terminals. So we'll put our switch over on this side here. So we're going to get our ground wire around our green screw like this. We'll tighten it up like that. We have our black lights we'll put on the top. You don't want to strip too much off. Cut this a little shorter. Okay, so now we'll put our lights on our top switch here, like that. And we'll tighten our pressure plate, make sure we don't get our insulation under the pressure plate there. Make like a 1/16 of an inch copper showing at the top. We'll bring this ground wire around to go to our GFI receptacle down here. We'll put our red for the fan. Down here, doesn't matter which slot you put it in the top or the bottom, we'll put it in the bottom here. Make sure it's in all the way under the pressure plate. There we go. So push this into our, well, you know what? We can't put it on that side because this ground wire is going to be too short. So we'll just put it on this side. When you can't do something, you can't do it. That's all there is to it. A wire is too short, a wire is too short. And you just can't get upset. You can't frustrate. You just do what you can. Okay, so you'll see a little link between here. So we're going to put our wire to jump over to our outlet on here. We'll pull our black wire out of our remix here. Okay, so our power wire can go either on this one or the other one. It's a little long, so we'll cut that back a little bit. This is the power side. I can put both on this one or one on each. I'll do one on each. So this is the side that the power goes in. And if they're on two separate circuits, you can break that little link out. That's still a little long, so I'll flip this back a little bit more. Make sure it's tight. Now this will be our jumper wire to go over to our outlet. So we'll put it over here. We could put it under on the other side here or over here, but we'll put it on this other screw. Make sure our insulation does not get pinched under the terminal. One, two. Okay, so now we can fold this over this way into our box. And bring this black wire around to the other side to go to our GFI receptacle here. We'll put it on the other side. So we'll get our wire nuts back off our way here. And we can put this into our box. If the wire is too short, it's too short. I wanted it over here, but you can't always get what you want. So you just have to be thankful for what you have and put it where you can put it and not worry about where you can't put it. I gotta fold this wire so it goes into the box. Well, that black wire is right where I don't want it, so I have to unscrew it and Move it to a place where it can be, where it doesn't get poked into the ground wire. Okay, there it'll go in. But I don't want this way to be. I want this way to go down so it's not punctured on anything. There, now it's going to go in without being punctured anywhere. So we'll center our switch here. So it's now the cover we'll have to buy for this will be a double GFI cover or a double rocker switch cover. Something's hitting. Okay, time to push this black wire down some more. This red wire goes back this way. Put that back a ways further, and we'll see if it goes in without hitting anything now. There it goes. Get it centered. Okay, so got back in there, so we'll get these wires back out of our way here, so that they're not hitting anything. And now we can get ready to hook our GFI receptacle up. This is our neutral wire, this is our ground, and this is our hot wire. So we take off about 1/2 inch. This one's a little long, so we'll cut that back. So we're using the Eaton GFI receptacles. And on the back you'll see a line and you'll see load. And our ground happens to be on the bottom where it says load, so we're going to close the load terminal since we're not coming out of this GFI to go to anything, and that's so that the screws aren't floating around and touching the side of the box and could cause a problem. So here in the country I was born in, white is neutral, goes on the silver colored screw, the wide slot. Black is live, it goes on the brass colored screw, that narrow slot, and the bare ground wire goes on this green screw. So first we'll hook our ground wire up. Get our wire up through the pressure plate all the way, so I see it up here in the top. Make sure it's tight. I'll put our white, make sure it's stripped long enough. Goes up to the top, so we'll get it under our pressure plate there. Make sure insulation is not under the pressure plate, and I see our copper up here at the end, so it looks like that. So now we'll turn it over this way, and we'll get our black under the brass terminal. So I'm going to make sure it's long enough, so it's long enough. Whoa. Get it up here. Get our insulation up to, okay, I don't want it under the pressure plate. There's about a 1/16 of an inch or a little bit less. See, there's like a 1/16 of an inch of copper showing before the insulation is. So we'll just make sure that's tight. And now we can fold this back into our box and keep our ground wire down away from everything so it doesn't short out on anything. So I'll take this out here. I'll just push it back in, make sure it's going to fit okay. Okay, I'm going to look at the back here. Make sure that ground wire is staying down away from everything. I'm going to make sure our black wire is folded so it's not going to split open on anything. So I'll go down and round and up a little bit. Same with my white wire. Get a little junk out of there, and now I can put this in. Now the type of cover we have to get for this is the double GFI or double rocker switch cover. Okay, we're going to use an old screw because we're missing one of the new screws with this GFI, so we'll just stick one of the older screws in there. If it goes in hard, it goes in hard, but it went in easy because it's not too badly rusty. Get it centered over here. Here, center.